op shopping has fed Mel's vintage sewing love. You'll find her on Instagram at Puddingandpeas. There's a really neat story behind her Instagram name as well. Hi, I'm Maria Theohara Savello Sews on social media. This is the Jukebox series featuring Sew Over 50 sewists who love sewing their own vintage clothes. You'll find that using existing materials is an important part of sewing your own vintage looks. Mel, or at Puddings and Peas, is today's Sew Over 50 podcast guest. Thank you for inviting me into your home today, Mel.
You're very welcome, Maria.
So that people know, you don't have an Australian accent, but you live here in Australia, yes?
Yes, that's right.
Can you tell us where you're from originally?
I'm originally from the northwest of England. I'd always wanted to live somewhere hot near the beach, and Sydney's just where I ended up.
Great. And how long have you been here for?
I came here in 2003.
I'm glad you've kept your accent.
I've been here a while. I don't think the accent's as strong as it used to be.
Okay. Is vintage sewing your main love?
Yes, vintage sewing's my main love. Sewing vintage influenced styles and vintage styles is what I mostly do. Crochet was my first hobby. My grandma taught me when I was little. Yeah, now I mostly sew my clothes, basically.
And before you started sewing your clothes when you were very vintage inspired, how did you start your vintage clothing love?
I've always liked op shopping, charity shopping where I come from. But I found that I'm on the smaller side and I could never find clothes that fit me, whether it be ready to wear or secondhand stuff in secondhand shops. I've always liked making things as well. So sewing brings together those two things, finding things that I want to wear that fit me and making things all at the same time.
Yeah, good. And did you delve into any other style of clothing before you found vintage?
Yeah, when I wore ready to wear, I would probably buy whatever was out. Or I always quite like 70s styles. I don't know why I was drawn to 70s styles. I found they fit me quite well at the time. And maybe that's what was in op shops at the time when I was looking. I think I've just got to a point now where a good basic dress with a gathered skirt will take me anywhere. I can eat as much as I like. I can sit on the floor. It's not uncomfortable or restrictive like wearing jeans. I've taken the dog to a vet's in a white big skirted sundress and I've been all over the floor trying to calm her down where she gets her vaccinations. I don't know if people think that's weird, but just it works for me. I don't have to think too much when I get dressed. A lot of my clothes are similar.
Yeah. It makes you happy.
Yeah, I think clothes should make you happy.
I agree. Thanks to Mel for sharing her love of sewing vintage clothes with us. She's been a great sport, giving her permission for us to use her podcast for this special Jukebox series on Sew Organised Style podcast.